If you're experiencing headaches, confusion, or memory problems after an accident, what I'm about to tell you could be the difference between getting proper compensation and losing everything. I'm attorney Tim Summelroth of RSH Legal. I've been helping people get fair brain injury settlements in Iowa for over 27 years. If you've suffered a brain injury because of someone else's actions, get a free consultation with a lawyer you can trust by calling 319-895-1847. So you've been in an accident, and now you're experiencing symptoms that have you worried. Maybe you're dealing with headaches that won't go away, confusion, or memory problems that seem to come out of nowhere. You might find yourself struggling to concentrate at work, forgetting conversations, or feeling dizzy when you stand up. Here's what I need you to understand. You're not imagining these symptoms, and you're definitely not alone. The problem is that most people, including some doctors, don't fully appreciate traumatic brain injuries. This lack of understanding leads to dangerous myths that could seriously harm your recovery and destroy your legal case. Let me expose the 3 most damaging myths that insurance companies and even some doctors want you to believe. These myths have cost brain injury victims millions of dollars in compensation that they deserved. Myth number 1, I didn't hit my head, so I couldn't have a brain injury. This is completely false, and it's one of the most dangerous misconceptions out there. Your brain doesn't need to make contact with anything in order to suffer serious damage. Think about what your brain actually is. It's a soft organ floating in fluid inside your hard skull. When your body experiences a simple jolt or sudden movement, like what happens in a car crash, a fall, or a sports collision, your brain can twist and slam against the inside of your skull. This movement can tear brain tissue, damage blood vessels, or disrupt the connection between brain cells. The insurance adjuster who's handling your injury case probably knows this scientific fact, but they're counting on you not knowing it. Myth number 2, my MRI or CT scan was clear, so I'm fine. Here's what they don't tell you about brain scans. These scans typically only show structural damage like bleeding, skull fractures, or obvious physical changes to brain tissue. But most brain injuries are what doctors call functional injuries. This means that your brain cells can be damaged or killed. Your neural pathways can be disrupted, and the chemical balance in your brain can be thrown off. And absolutely none of this will show up on a standard MRI or CT scan. It's like having a computer that looks perfect on the outside, but has damaged wiring inside that prevents it from working properly. A clear scan doesn't mean you're clear of injury. It just means that the damage isn't the type that shows up on those particular tests. Myth number 3, it's just a concussion. It's not that serious. This misconception has destroyed more brain injury cases than almost anything else. A concussion is a traumatic brain injury, period. There is no such thing as just a concussion. It can have lasting, life-changing effects that impact every aspect of your daily life. Some people suffer symptoms for years or even permanently. Adults over 40 have an especially difficult time recovering from concussions. But here's what really concerns me. These are long-term consequences that most people never hear about. Studies show that people who've had concussions can have an increased risk of stroke, seizures, depression, or even Alzheimer's disease later in life. The insurance company of the person who caused your brain injury is hoping that you don't know the truth about these myths. They are betting that you'll believe them and walk away without proper compensation for what could be a lifetime of medical care, lost earning ability, and reduced quality of life. Now that you know what they're hiding from you, there are 3 steps that you should take to protect yourself and your family's future. First, document everything. Keep a daily journal of every symptom, every struggle, every time you can't concentrate or can't remember something. Write down when the headaches hit, how severe they are, and what triggers them. Note when you feel confused, dizzy, or unusually tired. Have family members write down the changes that they notice in your behavior. This documentation will be critical for both your medical treatment and your legal case if you report this to your doctors. Second, get the right medical care from doctors who truly understand brain injuries. You're probably going to need to see specialists, neurologists, neuropsychologists, brain rehabilitation specialists. Don't let anyone dismiss your symptoms or tell you to just wait it out. Brain injuries don't heal like broken bones. The brain often needs specific treatments and therapies in order to recover properly. Third, understand that time is working against you. Iowa law gives you a limited window to pursue compensation, and brain injury cases require extensive documentation and expert testimony. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to connect your symptoms to your brain injury. Now, those 3 steps I just gave you are critical, but there are specific questions that most brain injury victims ask me, and the answers to those questions could save you thousands of dollars and years of trouble. Question: how do I get my medical bills paid? If you have a brain injury in Iowa caused by someone else's fault, follow this specific order to get your medical bills paid. First, send all medical bills to your personal health insurance, not the other person's insurance or your auto insurance MedPay coverage. Health insurance usually covers far more treatment than MedPay, which is often capped at just $1,000 to $5,000. If your injury happened at work, file a workers' compensation claim immediately. Workers' compensation should cover 100% of reasonable medical costs related to a work-related brain injury. If the person who hurt you is charged with a serious crime, if you were hurt in a car crash, you may qualify for help from Iowa's Crime Victims Compensation Fund. Use your auto insurance MedPay coverage last as a gap filler for costs that your health insurance won't pay. Remember, the insurance company of the person who caused your brain injury typically won't pay you for anything until your entire case is ready to be settled. Question: can I file a brain injury case in Iowa if I was partially at fault for my injury? Yes, you can still potentially recover compensation, but your recovery could be reduced. Iowa uses comparative fault rules. For example, this means if you were 30% at fault for your injury, then your final settlement or verdict will be reduced by 30%. However, if you're found to be more than 50% at fault, you may not recover anything at all. Determining fault is complex. Insurance companies will push as much blame as possible onto you to reduce their payouts. They have teams of investigators working against you from day one. Now, we can investigate your injury independently and challenge their claims. Don't accept the insurance company's version of what happened without having your own lawyer investigate the facts. Question: how long do I have to file a brain injury case in Iowa? In most cases, you must settle your case or file a lawsuit within 2 years from the date of your brain injury. This is called the statute of limitations, and it's an absolute deadline. Miss it by even 1 day, and you could lose your right to bring your case forever. Now, some cases have even shorter deadlines. Trucking companies can start destroying evidence within 6 months of a crash. Cases against government entities must often be filed within just 6 months. Medical malpractice cases in Iowa have different rules and shorter time limits too. Call us right away so we can protect your rights and gather evidence while it's fresh. Question: do I really need a lawyer for my Iowa brain injury case? Here's what insurance companies are counting on: that you'll try to handle this complex legal case yourself while you're still hurting, overwhelmed, and dealing with brain injury symptoms that can affect your thinking. Brain injury cases are incredibly complex and require specialized knowledge of medicine, law, and insurance company tactics. A qualified brain injury lawyer can gather evidence, calculate the full value of your losses, deal with aggressive insurance companies, and fight for maximum compensation. Insurance companies have experienced lawyers working against you. Entire teams of them, plus investigators, doctors, and experts. You need someone on your side who knows exactly how they operate. Here's what we do that you probably can't do on your own. Investigate liability and preserve crucial evidence before it disappears. Properly calculate the full value of your losses, including future medical care. Counter specific insurance company tactics designed to minimize your claim and navigate complex court procedures if your case goes to trial. Let us take this legal burden off of you so that you can focus on healing. I've seen what happens when brain injury survivors try to go it alone. They often get far less than they deserve. Question: how much will it cost me to hire a lawyer for my Iowa brain injury case? We work on a contingent fee, which means that you pay absolutely nothing up front, and your lawyer is paid a percentage only if you win your case. If we don't win, you owe no attorney's fees whatsoever. This means that you can get quality legal help regardless of your current financial situation. We also advance all the costs of building your case and only get paid back for that if you do. This makes us completely invested in getting you the best possible result. Question: how do I choose the best Iowa brain injury lawyer for my case? Here's what you should look at when choosing legal representation, and it's not just about who has the biggest advertising budget. Look for an attorney with specific experience handling brain injury cases, not just general personal injury. You want someone with a proven track record of successful results in cases similar to yours. What you really want is someone who has actually tried brain injury cases in court, not just settled them. Insurance companies pay significantly more when they know your lawyer isn't afraid of a courtroom. So ask these critical questions during your consultation. How many brain injury cases have you handled similar to mine? What were the outcomes of those cases? Are you willing to go to trial if the insurance company won't offer fair compensation? And how will you keep us informed throughout the process? We've helped Iowa families through these cases for over 27 years, and we're here for you too. We know exactly what it takes to build winning cases and get brain injury survivors the compensation they deserve. Question: will my brain injury case have to go to trial? Most brain injury cases do settle before trial, but some cases must go to trial if the other side won't offer a fair amount. Your lawyer should be fully prepared for both possibilities. Settlement can be faster and less stressful, but sometimes trial is the only way to get full compensation. Insurance companies often make deliberately low offers, hoping that you'll take quick money rather than fight for what you're really owed. Insurance companies pay significantly more to lawyers who will actually go to trial. That's why we prepare every single case as if it's going to trial. That preparation is exactly how we get the best settlements. Question: how long does a brain injury case take in Iowa? Here's what affects your timeline and why you shouldn't delay getting started. The length depends upon the complexity of your case, the court schedule, and whether liability is disputed, and whether your case settles or goes to trial. Straightforward cases with clear liability might resolve in a number of months. Complex cases involving multiple parties or disputed facts might take a year or more. We work to resolve cases as quickly as possible while still ensuring that you can get maximum compensation. The sooner we start working on your case, the sooner we can begin fighting for your future. Your brain injury case is too important to handle alone or delay. The insurance companies have teams of lawyers working against you from the moment your accident happened, so you need an experienced advocate on your side who knows their tactics. If you would like to set up a free consultation with an experienced attorney who will fight for what you deserve, please call us today at 319-895-1847. Our conversation is confidential, costs you nothing, and can potentially get you the biggest settlement possible for your Iowa brain injury case. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to this channel and make sure you watch this next video.